as we round out the first half of the season. We are live from the British Grand Prix at Silverstone for round 10, season 10 of the Race Department Formula 1 World Championship on the PlayStation 4. Thank you everybody for tuning in. My name is Jamie Mayers. Alongside me, my broadcast partner, Mr. Michael Fleming, and we are underway with 10.5 minutes left of qualifying. Looks a bit cloudy. Not entirely sure what the weather's going to be. Being told a dry qualifying and a dry race. Is Sean going to improve his championship position? Remember, he's already 98 points in the lead as it stands. And as we go around this glorious racetrack, which just happens to be both your commentators' home Grand Prix, what a way to start the official Race Department Twitch stream. Get our little bit of telemetry up and running. Everybody's on the super soft tyre, which is a bit of an oddity here, given the fact that we haven't had everybody out on the same set of tyres for the last few Grand Prix. Everybody sort of made a couple of changes with their compounds. But everybody going out for the super soft straight away as we follow Mikey, the season 8 champion, around Maggots and Beckett's and onto the Hangar Straight. In, and he crosses the line with a 1:27.5 to go fastest so far. Just as you say that, Mitchell goes fastest on a 27.5. He lets Sean through, who I believe is on a lap right now. He's just coming into Maggots and Beckett's as we speak. Let me just... 27.2, that's a great lap. A very, very good marker to put down. And we're going to see if anybody's going to beat that. I don't think anybody who hasn't put in a lap time is capable of doing that. Maybe Luke, maybe Ben, who is just coming down into Brooklands by the looks of it. He's in with a good shot. Drew down in 8th place. He's going to be quite disappointed with that so far. But, of course, this is only the first runs. He will get quicker from here. Hasnain down there in 13th place. He's going to be a little disappointed with that as well. As is Harry down in 9th. But a good lap there from Troy, who's currently 5th fastest on a 27.5. I'm just going to quickly just disappear shortly, just momentarily. We may have a slight issue with listening to our other commentators, so I'm just going to check something. No, that all seems right, but apparently they can't hear you, Michael. Don't know if you want to check your audio sharing settings. Everybody in the pits currently after their first runs, apart from Charlie, who's just going through the loop now on his first hot lap. So we'll follow him for a bit. Until we can get some of our audio issues sorted out. Ticked for me as well, which is awkward. Let's see Charlie come through the final corner now. He crosses the line. He only goes 16th fastest and last out of all the people that have set a lap time so far. He would want to do a bit better than that, but of course he hasn't had really the time to practice. But of course, like I said earlier on, this should get faster as the session continues. Milos and Luke also yet to set lap times. Milos looks like he's coming through Cops, but I'm not sure if that's a hot lap or not. I think it is. We're going to follow him around, and Luke pits. So he aborts his first one. Just coming out the final corner now. Where's he gonna go? 31.8. Of course he's gonna want to go again. Who else is on any sort of a lap. I think Gatis up in second place. Didn't really notice that while we were trying to sort out some issues. He's just warming up. Got Harry up there in fourth, so that's a good lap time from him. We've got Mikey warming up for his lap as well. Do apologise if the pictures go again just shortly. And then just have another run through these settings again just to make sure that I haven't done anything. I don't believe I have. Mikey opens up his lap now.
Towards cops.
Right, there we go. Hopefully that's resolved that. In through Maggots and Beckett's lovely section of racetrack this. Run a little bit wide. Oh, and he's messed that up. That's his qualifying done. He's not going to be able to improve anywhere more than the 7th place he's currently in. So I'm going to switch to Harry, who's just coming through the last 2 corners now. Got yellow flags. He crosses the line. He goes up to 3rd. Great lap for him. 27.4. Mitchell now braking for club as well. Where is this lap going to put a little bit of oversteer on the exit? Sean improves to pole on the 26.7 and Mitchell up to 2nd. There's going to be a Sean and Mitchell front row. Harry immediately down to 6th. Mikey down there in 8th position, and I believe that is it for your qualifying. Sean on the pole, Mitchell on the 2nd, and we've got our reserve driver there in 3rd position.
Great few laps there. I think 3rd, 4th and 5th. A great lap from Tony to put him up into the top 5. We wouldn't have expected that. So some low 27s going in from those 3 drivers there. Troy will be happy to be up in P4. He currently sits 5th in the standings. Will leapfrog our retired Dutchman Cass if he scores points this race. So interesting qualifying. Lost it through Chapel.
So there we go. Sean, Mitchell there on the front row of the grid. We've got another Sean there in 3rd. Troy there in 4th. And we are about to start the British Grand Prix. Hopefully it brightens up a little bit, and it has indeed brightened up ever so slightly. We just wait for all the players to come back into the lobby, and we will be underway. It's going to be a pretty hectic start. We've only got 296 meters between the pole position and the apex of Abbey, which is your first corner here on Silverstone. So you may see a little bit of carnage. Hopefully we won't, but it definitely could happen.
Yeah, it's a fast turn one. You never know whether you want to be on the inside or the outside of it. You just want to stay out of trouble through the first lap, which is difficult to do on a first apex, which is as fast as that.
Here we go. The timer ticks down. We are on the grid, and the lights are on. And the British Grand Prix is go! It's a good start there by Mitchell, who takes the lead. Sean tried to move across the cover but couldn't quite get there in time. Got a few cars wide down at Abbey. We've got a Williams rejoining the circuit. We've got 3 wide action going round in the background. Troy there up into second position with an opportunistic dive there on Sean. We've got some contact down the field as Hasnain drops down along with Charlie. Further down the field we've got a Red Bull wide. I believe that's Drew. Well, it would be as Guy passes him up for 11th position. Not quite sure what happened there, but everybody else looks like we've still got all the runners on the circuit. Although, as I say that, we've got yellow flags out somewhere.
Yeah, Hasnain has been run out of room.
Oh, and there's a Ferrari very wide there at Cox. That must have been Mikey. Everybody weaves their way through Maggots and Beckett's, and Sean looks like he's trying to attack Troy for second position. Mitchell's going to love this. He's going to hope that these two fight and give him the opportunity to pull out a gap. A gap already almost a second as we finish the end of lap 1. That was a dream start there by Mitchell as well. Just managed to get the jump and avoid Sean covering him off as Drew pits, so obviously he had some damage.
He was, looked like he was part of the only contact through the turn 1 and 2 sequence, picked up some damage, but we've got the 2 McLarens going side by
Sean
side
down
for
the
about
inside.
half a lap there.
Sorry, Sean just had a look down the inside into turn number 3, couldn't quite get the job done and kind of banged into the side of Troy, but he's got the run down the Wellington straight. He's on the inside as well, so this might be an easy pass. Down into Brooklands, he's got the second position, and Drew retires from the race, which is very uncharacteristic of him because usually he stays to the end, but hasn't done so this time. And with that pass, that's put Harry now on the back of Troy, so that's going to be one to look out for as we go down the second straight shortly.
Yeah, battling going on all throughout the field. Luke and Andrew the ones to lose out on lap 1. Obviously Hasnain got spun as well going through Luffield, but a dream start for Mitchell. Sean already starting to eat into the gap. How long can he last whilst Harry looking at Troy into Stowe?
Oh, they've bagged wheels! Nice drift there by Troy to make sure he tries to keep that position. And Gatis down the inside making it 3 wide nearly into club. Don't really want to be doing that. Troy's just managed to keep hold of that 3rd place, but it's cost them all a lot of time. He's already 3 seconds now behind the second position as we've got bits of debris flying off in the background. And we've got Ben attacking for the 12th position. But we're going to keep our eyes on this cracking battle for 3rd, which involves almost half the grid. Harry's got the DRS as well. He's going to look to the outside of Brooklands. Can't get the job done. He's going to have, as Gatis looks to try and squeeze his car. And Luke's also now retired from the race, down the pit lane. So unfortunately, we're only 3 laps in and we've got 2 retirements already.
Yeah, it is a shame. It's a long pit lane here, so getting damage on the first lap does tarnish your race, and on a game where you can't really run safety car, it's very difficult for these drivers to find the motivation to keep going, especially as there won't be any change in weather. But Troy has managed to gap Harry a little bit over this lap, So that will give him some confidence that he's got some pace in the middle sector, but Gatis has running a bit wide at Stowe, and Mikey might have a run now.
Contact between Jerry and it's all kicking off in the background. Fortunately, Bohr had a little bit of contact trying to pass the outside of Jerry, and they kind of met in the middle of Stowe. And yeah, that means an unfortunate trip into the pits for the Williams of Sean, who's our reserve driver for this week. He pits. We've also got Bohr in the pits as well. I think he got caught up in that too.
Yeah, meanwhile Mikey did in fact get the move done on Gatis towards the end of that lap, right down the inside interval, got it stuck around the outside of the club, nice move, but Gatis hasn't been shaken off and is well in Mikey's slipstream. Let's see if he can bounce back from that overtake.
Mikey running a little wide, that might give Gatis the opportunity to have a look, but Gatis thinks better of it. Of course, he will have DRS coming down the next straight, so that will be a perfect opportunity in which he can pass. But of course, he has to look out for the two cars behind him, because they're not going to pass up an opportunity either, if they get one. As we head on to lap number 4. Everybody down to 11th place on the super soft tyre. Guy is hanging on pretty well in 11th position. He's on the soft tyre, so keep an eye on him as we go throughout this race with the pit stops.
Yeah, I'm very impressed with how Mitchell's managed to hold the gap to Sean. I thought, you know, based on qualifying, Sean was 4/10 of a second quicker. You know, he might have that much more race pace than Mitchell, but it's been a great start for the Red Bull driver and reigning champion. Can he claw some points back on Sean in the championship? It would be great if he could go wheel to wheel with him today and come out on top.
We did have yellows on the racetrack briefly, and we've got another retirement. Somebody else just pulls into the pits and leaves the race. So we're now down to 16 runners after only 5 laps. And the pit stops are going to be coming soon, because looking at the state of Mitchell's front left tyre, a bit second hand as Sean re-enters the pits. So I think he's probably going to leave as well. Which I hope is not the case.
Got Guy looking at Ben around the outside. Ben does have a damaged front wing. I'd be surprised if he tries to hold it around the inside of Stowe. He's going to, but he's just understeering horribly.
Oh, and
Ben always.
Guy there running off the road. Oh, look at that! Look at that from Ben trying to get the place back. And here comes Milos down the inside in the Ferrari to take the pair of them. Great opportunistic driving there from the Ferrari stand-in. As Ben has a look down the inside into Abbey. That's a bit rude. Drives through the Fly Emirates sign as well as he rejoins. It's all kicking off now as there's a bit more contact there in the loop.
Yeah, Ben does love himself a dive bomb. And he went for it there, and all he's done really is just clatter into Guy and cost him some time. Bit of a pointless attack when you're running a bit low on front end downforce, but he's just trying to have some fun, I suppose.
Yeah, this battle's not over yet though.
Oh, Harry's lost it at Cops. Really well held, but just lost the rear end on the exit of Cops, and he's lost 2 places to Mikey and Gatis, so that's dropped him away from Troy, who has even more breathing space than before, but Gatis has got a great run onto the hangar straight.
I'm not even sure who to look for. Gatis down the inside of Mikey. That's for 4th position. Really quite impressed with Gatis of late, as he's going a little bit defensive there into club. Make sure you don't lock up the brakes and run wide, because Mikey's just going to drive clean past you, which he doesn't quite do. Gatis went very wide onto the pit straight, and that just allows Mikey back through.
It's a lovely little train that's formed there now, with Mikey at the head of it. Just be wary though, Milos is now the highest runner who isn't on the super softs, and he's actually on medium, so he'll be going for a long stint on these tyres. Be interesting to see where he comes out in all of this, but definitely we've got a good race on now. Great to see Dan in the mix. I think this is his second race in race department, so up there in P7 fighting with some of the big boys is good to see. Quite whether Mikey or Gatis has more pace, I don't know. I feel like Gatis is stronger at this stage, but very, very close pace-wise, I think, at the front of this queue.
Yeah, it's also interesting to see that the lead battle has pretty much stayed between 2 and 2.1 seconds the last couple of laps. So, just like you said earlier, it's like Mitchell has just found a groove and is keeping his gap, which he's going to be very happy with. But obviously, as they come out of the pits later on, we'll see if he's still got that pace.
Well, those two will be absolutely drenched in sweat. It's just all about trying to not make any mistakes. Mitchell knows if he makes one little error, Sean will be right on him within DRS, and they'll be able to fight with him as Harry gets out of shape at turn 1 once again. But yeah, although it looks fairly, stable and comfortable for Mitchell, believe me, it won't be.
28th time. Gatis gonna have DRS there on Mikey. Can't do anything with it. Got Dan holding on to the back of Harry as well, as Harry gets a bit sloppy, as you were saying. This is definitely our Armageddon section of the race, which we usually have. Dan really shaping up Harry for a move here, so we're going to watch down the Hanger straight. That'll be good fun to watch, as long as Harry doesn't mess it up. Gatis looks like he's made a mistake, because he's not putting in on Mikey that much either.
Yeah, it's an interesting fight. On paper, you'd say Harry is the quicker driver than Dan. But as we've seen this season, he does tend to make the odd mistake as Harry. We saw it, he had great pace in Australia, but chucked away a guaranteed third place with a sort of silly accident, just losing the rear end. He's done it once already today, and I wouldn't be surprised if we did see a couple more mistakes from him.
It's unfortunate really, because like you said, he's got a lot of pace. He's a very good driver. Just needs to stop making those mistakes and then start bringing himself into the pack a bit. As we've had Gatis and Tony in the pits. Gatis onto the medium tyre, and as does Tony. Tony also goes into the medium tyre, so they're looking to go to the end of the race on that. Whether or not they can get that far on those tyres, I'm not sure.
They should be able to. Yeah, I think tyre longevity is not too bad around here. I think the ideal strategy is super soft soft. Perhaps taking these super softs a bit longer, but if these Red Bull tyres can make 10 laps, then there's no reason why the yellow wall soft tyres can't make 16. So they will reap in the rewards of the undercut for now. But if the front guys can stretch and put on a softer compound, then they will be in the ascendancy for the rest of the race.
Now, I was thinking that lap 9 would be bringing in some of the pit stops, and there we go, Troy Pitts. So he's the first to blink. It's going to be interesting to see when the others make their pit stops, whether or not the undercut works. Dan still on the back of Harry as they go through turn 1. I was just about to say that the end of lap 9 to lap 10 pretty much is where you would probably be seeing the pit stop start for the super soft runners.
I think
actually starting lap 10.
Yeah, I mean the trouble that the leaders have is that it's such a slow pit lane here. only 60 kilometers an hour, and it's a long one as well. You lose a lot of time, and it's only 23 seconds between leader Mitchell and 7th place Arbos, which would, I think the pit lane time is roughly 24 seconds here, so it would drop them right into the region of the guys that started the race on a harder compound, which could thwart the leader's progress a bit. They'll want to jump all of those midfield runners by the time they come in for their first pit stop.
Let's see what Mitchell and Sean do. Mitchell pits, Sean pits, so I'm assuming that Mikey will follow them in. I'm intrigued to see if Gatis, manages to leapfrog Mikey in this pit stop phase. Highly doubt he's going to be troubling Sean and Mitchell though, as they're on the medium tyre. Looks like they might just get out in the lead again. Mikey onto the soft. There you go, Milos into the lead of the race as he started on those medium tyres. Just as you said, all of the guys on the harder compounds are now leapfrogging them. Mitchell's out on the circuit in 5th position. Where did Gatis come out? Gatis is in front of Mikey, just as I said. We've got Tony right behind Mikey as well on the medium tyre.
Yep, interesting how that's played out. The two drivers that pitted on the 2 laps previously for mediums have, like we expected, gained from the undercut. It is very powerful on those fresh tyres, but they are now on the slower compound for the rest of the race. So I would be very surprised if Gatis could hold off Mikey until the checker flag, as Mitchell gets a penalty. Now that is vital, because Sean is within that 3-second window. Mitchell just ran it wide at Cops. Now he's got to hope that Sean himself picks up another penalty, otherwise he will find it very difficult to win this race.
Yeah, that's unfortunate for him. He's going to have his head in his hands, at least when he gets onto the straight, that is. Because that could potentially have just thrown away his win. And I was going to say that Sean's actually closed up the gap. It was 2.1 seconds when they made their stop. It's now 1.3 as they crossed the line to start lap 12. And yeah, unfortunately that's going to turn into a 1.5 second deficit for Mitchell, unless he can put his foot down and try and drive away from Sean.
Yeah, the trouble is Sean has this reputation for getting corner cutting penalties so often, but when you want him to have one in a race like this, he just seems to be able to get to the end without picking up a single one. So it is surprising, because Sean is every lap just abusing the Stowe track limits quite badly, as Charlie pulls it right out of the way of the leaders, but he's not getting a penalty for it. And he is now within 1.2 seconds of Mitchell. He'll probably want to overtake him on track just for that bit of pride and for a bit of personal enjoyment, but he doesn't need to, as Mikey's really closed in on Gatis.
His tyres are a lap or 2 younger than Gatis's, and he's on the softer compounded tyre as well. He's got fantastic direction change on that Ferrari. He's obviously done something right with that setup of that car, as he's right in the DRS zone now, down the inside into Stowe, and it's a very, very clean move. Although Gatis doesn't look like he's going to let that one go, but he thinks better of it. He'll of course have the opportunity to attack again, but he's on the harder tyre. Usually means less grip.
Yeah, and we know that Mikey does struggle with rear end grips, so hopefully, you know, the only hope that Gatis will have is that towards the end of the race those softs go off a bit more than his own mediums, and Mikey starts to struggle with the rear end through the fast corners. But right now for the Ferrari driver, it's all about trying to catch Troy for that final spot on the podium. They're very close in the championship. Mikey and Troy split by just 3 points, so if Mikey does manage to beat Troy for P3, then they will move level on points in the drivers' standings.
Mitchell just making the overtake there on Guy for third place, which is the net lead. And Guy does Mitchell no favours at all and just moves out of Sean's way. It's a bit suspect because he didn't do that for Mitchell. And now Sean right in there with the DRS. Mitchell's got the DRS as well, so it's not going to be an easy pass. I mean, it's not going to be an easy pass when you're fighting with these two anyway. And Mitchell having to go a bit defensive. JC running a bit deep into club. Sean's right on his tail, and Sean's just going to drive past Mitchell with that. Unfortunate. Oh, and Sean's given himself a penalty now. So Mitchell's immediately right back in it.
Oh.
As Sean backs off. And yeah, not quite sure what happened there.
It's bizarre what's just happened, but Sean's moral compass is pointing all sorts of directions. He made contact with James in the other Mercedes, and he's slowed down to let him go. That's not what I expected to happen out of that, but now at least we do have an even fight between the front two. That was an incredibly bizarre sequence of events, but Sean's hard work completely undone there by, well, I mean, his kindness, I suppose. And he's now back to 1.8 seconds behind Mitchell, and it's as you were before the pit stops.
Yeah, especially with him giving himself a penalty as well. Because Troy's given himself a penalty, so that's just put Mikey right in front of him. But of course, like you said with the others, Mikey's going to have to want to pass him on the track.
Got a nice little battle brewing for 9th place. Tony on the mediums is holding up the Renault of Harry and the Sauber of Dan. They'll be starting to get a little bit impatient, and hopefully we'll see. Oh, Harry does indeed go for a move down into the loop. Can he make it stick? No. On the outside, Tony just gets the drive out of the corner, able to straighten up the car a bit quicker, but Harry will have a hefty slipstream now as they head down into Brooklands.
Like he got it done, run wide. That puts Tony right back in front of him again. We've also got Mikey sizing down the inside of JC for 6th position. Harry's got to be kicking himself because he wouldn't be in this position had he not spun it out earlier. Well, JC was really locked up there as he came into the pits. Guy has also pitted. We've got Milos under attack for the lead. I think Mitchell just pretty much scared him off the road. Sean now ready to pounce as well. Milos, remember, started on those medium compound tyres.
Harry and Tony going side by side. This should be the lap that Harry gets the move done. Indeed, he has the inside for Brooklands now. Can Dan take advantage of it? No. Just tries to avoid any unwanted contact. But yeah, Sean's looking really at home on these medium tyres. The fight for the win is definitely back on. And yeah, we've got fights all down the field. I think hopefully we'll see Dan put a move on Tony fairly soon. But the fight for the lead is hotting up.
10 laps in this race remaining. Got Dan within a tenth of the car in front, so he's going to want to overtake. But of course, the car in front has DRS as well. What's going to happen there, at least for the time being? That's going to put him off having to go into club. Might get the switchback done in that corner. Oh, nice move there. Down into turn 2. A bit of wheel banging. Finally wrestles that position away. Down up to 8th. Comes off the inside for any other attacks. That's that one done.
Yeah, really nice move, perfect on the brakes. I was riding on board with him through turn 1, and I could just see that he was thinking about it, and a really nice move. Pulled out of the dirty air and just chucked it down the inside. Controlled pass, great to see. And now he can go and hunt down Harry as he laps his teammate Ben, who's on super softs, and I assume going for the fastest lap award, or not.
Ben
hit the wall.
Yes, tyres from the Grand Prix. Troy, Milos having a pretty interesting fight. Remember, Milos still hasn't pitted yet. I'm not entirely sure what he's doing. I'm pretty sure by now he should be able to get on the super soft.
Yeah, at this point he's just wasting time, I think, by staying out, or at least slowing down his overall race time. He needs to get on a fresh set of supers as quickly as possible, and then start making progress wherever that will bring him out.
Yeah, he probably should have done that maybe a lap ago or two. Of course, he's going to come back into the traffic. This guy sets the fastest lap of the race on a 29.4. I've got to say, the battle for the lead hasn't really changed much. It's still been within that 4 to 5 tenths. Milos lets his teammate through for 4th position, and now we're going to see if Mikey can catch up to the back of Troy in 3rd place. And as I was talking about that lead battle, it's now 2 tenths of a second as Sean has the DRS. Remember, this is a straight fight now that the two of them have penalties. So even more sweat is going to be produced. Only 8 laps remain. Pretty much the only fight we have on circuit at the minute.
Well, I am just looking, and I think, you know, Mikey here is on a softer compound than the leaders, and he doesn't have a penalty yet. Currently, he is 6th, but he's made a mistake through turn 3 there. That's not going to help him out. Village is a tricky corner, and especially when the tyres are wearing out. So, forget what I was going to say. You know, I was saying if Mitchell did happen to get a penalty, then Mikey would be looking at potentially being able to beat him, and indeed if Sean got one. So he was there or thereabouts in the mix, but that mistake will put him out, and the best he can hope for is P3 now in the Ferrari.
Make the mistake, get a penalty, or just pull out and crack the rubber. Sean can't really do much with that DRS. I think he's running a bit more wing than Mitchell is, which tends to be the case, as we've seen in some of these races this season. Look at that Gatis right on the back of Milos now. Milos still hasn't pitted. Now he pits as I say that. really not sure why you would leave it this late to pit for a brand new set of tyres that can do 10 laps when they're used.
Well, thankfully for him, it's been a bit of a race of attrition, and there are only 13 drivers left, so wherever it comes out, it won't be far off the points. Hasnane just coming through club now, so he'll have a bit of catching up to do. But maybe if he's got that fastest lap award in his mind and he wants fresh tyres for the whole stint. As Sean gets close to Mitchell again, but as you say, just doesn't quite have the straight line speed to do it. If he gets a good run out of Chapel, then he will, it just makes such a big difference if you can get the line right and get off that corner quicker than the car ahead. He'll be trying all sorts of lines through the sequence of corner just to get on the back of Mitchell, who himself seems to have nailed that exit. And he'll have to wait another lap.
DRS really isn't giving him any hope. So I'm not sure where he's going to look for his overtake. Maybe down into club on the last lap. Maybe into farm. I mean, we've seen passes into farm earlier on in the race. So it's doable.
It is, and we know Sean will go for it wherever he fancies, with varying levels of success. So definitely excited to see how he's going to approach this, because he'll be hungry for the race win. I think he'll just be happy that he's having to work for this one. He's had it easy on a couple of occasions this season, like last time out in Austria. So hopefully he will be relishing this opportunity to show who's boss in terms of the Dutch drivers in our league. Troy also doing a fantastic job, by the way, holding on to, I would say holding on to third place. He's extended the gap to Mikey to over 3 seconds, but if I remember correctly, Troy has 6 seconds worth of penalties, so he'll have to do a little more than that if he wants to hold on to his podium position.
Yeah, Mikey dropped off, so I'm not sure if he's made some sort of mistake somewhere, or if he's just thought, I really don't need to push him as much. Because remember, Mikey's got a penalty himself. I'm not sure if Gatis is not. Gatis is within 3 seconds. I mean, he doesn't want to drop off too much, and he does, both the race leaders run wide at Stowe. Flirting with danger there, boys.
According to the race director, Mikey and Gatis don't have penalties at this stage.
That's a good thing. Very good thing. Unless, maybe that is why Mikey got a couple of warnings and just thought, look, if I keep pushing, I will get that penalty and that will put me down a position. So, if that is the case, that's a very smart thing to do. Sean is glued well and truly to the back of Mitchell as we go down onto the old pit straight.
It must be so frustrating for him. I haven't seen that gap extend beyond 4/10, and yet he just can't get close enough to have a go down the inside. He never quite has the run. Mitchell doing everything right, getting every exit perfectly to try and fend the Mercedes off. But each lap is a new opportunity, and Sean is running out of them.
Oh, just what were we talking about a minute ago?
Commentator's curse there.
He's just given himself a 3-second time penalty, and that means that he will drop behind Gatis come the end of the race, unless of course Gatis gets one between now and the final lap of the race. And we will be completing all 26 laps. We won't be having any silly ladies waving the flag on that. JC. We've also got a bit of lap traffic as well. I think that's the guy who's come out of the pits. This race is not done yet because that lap traffic could get rolling in this fight. I hope it doesn't, but
Guy being on the fresh super softs, hopefully he's going to just be setting fastest laps of the race and pulling away by a second a lap, but he's had a bit of a tricky race, a couple of mistakes here and there, and a lot of corner cutting penalties. The consistency isn't quite there for him, so if he does make a mistake, he'll be right in this fight for the lead. And of course, last time this happened, he didn't do Mitchell any favours. Sean gets really close up through Beckett, and he's a little bit closer on exit, but once again, it's just not quite a good enough. And he's not actually gaining much through slipstream at all.
He's definitely running a lot more wing. I think he's running the DRS. Oh, as he's going around the outside of Mitchell through club. No way is he going to pull this one off. Side by side, banging wheels. They're still side by side across the line. I'm not sure what that gap was, but Sean's going to take the lead through turn one. It was a very, very, very gutsy piece of driving. I tell you, Mitchell's probably got to be absolutely furious.
Well, I think it's his own doing, really. He just left Sean way too much space at Vale on the outside, which meant that Sean could just attack down into the apex of turn 17, and he just managed to have the inside for club, squeeze Mitchell out, and yeah, I think Mitchell's got no one but himself to blame there. He just left him a little bit too much room, and he will be absolutely gutted. He will not like that at all. What an opportunity this was for a race win, and already Sean extending the gap.
Wow, he's already 8/10, he's of second in the lead. So even if Mitchell did have a bit of extra straight line speed, it's going to be absolutely worthless at this point.
I mean, it all started at Stowe. Sean got a huge run through there. He did run it out onto the AstroTurf quite excessively, to be honest, but that forced Mitchell to go defensive, but he didn't do a good enough job of it. He just wasn't quite as aggressive with Sean as perhaps he should have been. And that looks like it's Mitchell's race over, unless we see a famous Sean mishap in terms of track extending penalties. It looks as though the Mercedes driver will go on to win his 7th race of the season, so Mitchell will be absolutely gutted there. Meanwhile, Gatis quite racy at the end of lap 24 on those mediums. They really start to come into their own, and Mikey looks as though he's struggling.
Gatis pitted before Mikey did, didn't he? He got the undercut, and obviously those soft tyres are not really going to last. There's probably a reason why Sean and Mitchell went for the mediums over the soft. But,
oh, there it is.
My goodness me, there it is! Just as you said it, Sean gives himself a penalty and has basically thrown this race out, unless somehow he can gain another 2 seconds on what will be the final lap. So this is going to be impossible.
That is absolutely sensational. I don't think I've ever seen anyone pick up a penalty for track extending at this circuit through maggots. It's almost always at cops, and perhaps if you've taken club poorly, but no, always. It looks like Harry has made another mistake. He's spinning around. He's lost it on the exit of Chapel, and he's lost 2 positions to Tony and Dan, and now to Jerry, and he's got no front wings. So there's the mistake that we said might happen. It has happened, but yeah, Sean, I just can't believe he's thrown it away like that. Of all corners to do it, Maggots is an odd one to run it out wide.
Yeah, it is, especially when you've got the race pretty much in the bag. You really don't need to be pushing that hard. I mean, he was pulling away nicely. He's done a complete mess up in this one.
The thing is, all these drivers are told is that you know, their race engineer will inform them that the other driver has a penalty, but Mitchell won't have known how much of a penalty Sean has, and vice versa. They'll both know that each other has a penalty, so even now they won't know you know, whether they are actually going to finish in their positions or whether in fact they will swap. Of course, Mitchell has no idea that Sean got a penalty on the last lap that will win him this race, but I'm sure he'll be ecstatic when they cross the line and he finds out.
That he will. And here we go, out of the final corner, onto the pit straight. Sean will cross the lead, in the lead, but Mitchell, as they wreck in celebration, will take the actual race victory on the line. Troy comes home in third, Mikey comes home in fourth, make that fifth as Gatis takes the podium place off of Troy. Troy's going to be furious with that one. Dan crosses the line in sixth. Got Tony in seventh. Got Jerry about to cross the line in eighth. Hasname coming out the final corner to take ninth. Wait a little bit for Milos, who I think has run out of fuel in the Ferrari. He crosses the line to take the last point. JC crosses the line in 11th place. Guy, who's already a lap down, is 13th, and Harry is going to take 12th. If, of course, he gets to the line. We've seen before people spinning out and crashing before the line. But there we go, he crosses the line. And that is your British Grand Prix. Done and dusted. Sean's going to be kicking himself. Gatis is going to be absolutely ecstatic to have finished on the podium. And Mitchell is going to be absolutely ecstatic that he stopped the winning streak of Sean, which would have run to 5 races had he won this race. There's the top 3. And I believe Gatis is the only one not to get some sort of a penalty. Got quite a lot of DNFs as well. But there we have it. Mitchell wins the British Grand Prix from Sean. Gatis in third, Troy in fourth, Mike in fifth, Dan in sixth. Then we've got Tony in seventh, Jerry in eighth, Hasnane in ninth, and Milos round out your point scorers for that one. And Michael, it's that time where I ask you, who's your driver of the day?
I mean, it's a difficult one. I've given it to Gatis many times this season, and once again for me he's put in a fantastic performance, being rewarded for not getting a penalty, as this race turned out to be all about penalties in the end. Really happy that it bumped him up into third place. Did a really good stint on those mediums and was ultra competitive in the first stint. I think Dan had a fantastic race as well, showed better pace than I was expecting him to. So to come home in sixth in the Sauber is good for him, but I'm gonna have to give it to Gatis again. I think Gatis is my driver of the day.
Yep, I'm gonna agree with you on that one. That was a very, very professional performance by Gatis, who I didn't expect to see him up there in third place come the end of the race, but he did a very, very good job to make sure that he brought himself into that position. I do have to say as well, it was a great fight between Mitchell and Sean. Even if it was decided on penalties, it was a good fight throughout that race, and I think they've both got to have a shower after buckets and buckets of sweat that they've obviously lost during this race.
Yeah, I mean, it's always lovely to see first and second sparring out on track, and it was a good little battle. Sean did fantastically to finish ahead on the road, and I think on the medium tyres he had the pace advantage on Mitchell, but he once again throws away a result due to a penalty. He will be absolutely gutted with that. Thankfully for him, his championship lead, whilst it has been cut, is still 91 points, I think, at this stage. So he won't lose any sleep over it, but yeah, he'll be definitely disappointed that he lost the race win in that manner.
And there we have it. That was your British Grand Prix. Next race will be the Hungarian Grand Prix, which will be on this channel on Tuesday, 8 o'clock on UK time. I just want to say thank you very much for the guys over at Race Department that have allowed us to basically take over the Twitch channel for an hour or so, and we will continue to do so until the end of the season. So a very, very big thank you to them, and yeah, what can I say? Thank you very much to everyone else that has watched this race. If you did enjoy what you saw and you want to take part in this, head over to Race Department, and I'm sure you can sign up. And yeah, don't really know what more I can say to that. Michael, do you want to add anything before we head off into the
Yeah,
sunset?
thanks for watching. It's hopefully, you know, we are able to show these races off towards the end of the season and really showcase the PS4 side. Really fantastically run league, and it's great to see sort of the different members evolve and improve as the season goes along. So yeah, thank you for watching.
So yeah, just a reminder of what I said earlier. The next race is of course on Tuesday, 8 o'clock UK time, and it will be the Hungarian Grand Prix. And from myself, Jamie Mayers, from my broadcast partner Michael Fleming, and from the entire league on the PlayStation side, and of course Race Department, thank you very much for watching. Take care of yourselves, and we shall see you next week.